got the Palo Santo ready. Got the new cards ready. Egyptian Oracle cards still in the plastic. Palo Santo. And I absolutely love the smell. They need to make like Palo Santo perfume or something, because they would take all of my money. Might have to have a go at making that myself, to be fair. Like perfume oil, fragrance oils with Palo Santo. Watch this space. Okay. Okay, so let me just unwrap these before I go any further. So unwrapping the plastic. Oh gosh, it's very thin plastic, but for some reason it's pretty tough and doesn't want to come off, despite my talons, freshly painted, to be fair. Okay, finally got that awful plastic off. It's already in a cardboard box. It doesn't need the plastic. But then again, I guess it's to weatherproof it. Here we are, we have the cards. So let's open them and then get them some Palo Santo for real. Let's get some Palo Santo for the Egyptian Oracle cards. Okay. Why not? I'll say an Egyptian prayer. Sekhmet Ta Nefertum, 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 Sekhmet Ta Nefertum. Sasakem Sahu, Sasakem Sahu. Cleansing for me, cleansing for the cards, cleansing for you. And I think we're good. So pop that Palo Santo in the cauldron. Let's have a look what we have here. So this is what it looks like on the back of the card. Ooh, oh wow. It was literally just chanting about Nefertum, and he's the first card. Right, let me show you the first card. Let me just scroll down. If you're watching, please feel free to leave a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. But the first card we have is Nefertum. And it says Nefertum completeness. Love it. Wow. So pop that one down. Let's see what the next one we have is. So we have Mehen protection. Love it. These cards, I literally popped into the Metaphysical store, which is literally right around the corner from me. So I'm so lucky. But it's crazy. I've been in there a few times before, but I've never seen these cards before. So I'm not sure if it was new or whatever, or if they just hadn't caught my eye before. But at the weekend, I saw these cards and I knew I had to get them. So the next card we have is Papyrus. Amy O'Neill says, hello, mister. Hello, Amy. Thanks for tuning in. So Apophis is darkness in Egyptian mythology. So Apophis is often slayed by, I believe it's Seth who slays Apophis. which is interesting because Seth is often seen as an evil deity in the mainstream Egyptian mythology. But with that story, or with that mythological narrative, that's the word I was looking for, with that mythological narrative where Seth destroys and defeats Apophis, that shows that Seth is just not just a black and white character, which it seems sometimes. So the next goddess we have is Selkis, a goddess of healing. Interesting. The thing that I love about Egyptian mythology and the Egyptian pantheon, there is just such a massive number of their deities that the Egyptians worshipped. And that's what I really love about them, because there's Egyptian deities for everything. So there's obviously we have Bas, goddess of cats, we have Sekhmet, goddess of war and healing. There is Isis, goddess, or Isis or Ozet, as she's also known, goddess of healing and magic and motherhood. So the next card we have is Surger, righteousness. Wow, I love how kind of not like, I love how these deities on these cards are not just the popular deities that you hear about time and time again, like the ones that I just mentioned, but there's some kind of rarer deities in here, and I love the imagery with the lotus. Beautiful work on these. The next one we have is Seshat, goddess of wisdom. Goddess of wisdom. Well, I'm going to have so much fun with these cards. The thing about these cards is I'm going to use them in meditation. I can use them in spellcraft, magic, meditation, healing, anything really. Amut. So that is devastation. So Amut is the beast which devours the hearts of the unrighteous people. So once Anubis weighs your heart on the golden scale, sorry, if you're worthy, you may pass into the afterlife and you live a good afterlife. If you're unworthy and you've not lived a good life, your heart is not pure, then your heart is devoured by Amut and you are doomed. So this is from the Egyptian mythology and the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Ooh, so the next deity we have is Heka, alchemical force. Heka is a god of magic. Heka. So I'll show you that again. So let's see what we have next. We have, I must admit, I've never heard of this one before, which I like. I like the fact that I'm coming across Egyptian deities that I've never came across before, because I've been interested in Egyptian mythology for such a long time. So I've been studying it for yonks, but I love the fact that I'm coming across deities that I've never, ever even heard of before. So the next one we have is Satet. So I believe this deity is where satisfaction comes from. I believe she's also known as Satis, as in satisfaction. So it says on it, fruitfulness. Wow, these cards are so beautiful. All right, so that's interesting. So on the box of these cards, it said that the cards were in papyrus, but it looks like they're not actually. It means it's papyrus design because it looks like it's papyrus, but it's just regular card which has been laminated over. So the next goddess we have is Neith, goddess of perseverance. And Amy O'Neill says, "Ooh, cool." Yeah, next we have Happy. I love the images. I love the image of this one. So I love blue is like one of my favorite colors. So this is like really Egyptian blue here. And Happy is one of the four sons of Horus. So the four sons of Horus, they preside over protecting the canopic jars, which protect the vital organs once a person has been mummified. So the message of this card is renewal. I love the how many lotus flowers are on there, and I love the colour. Next we have Tauret, and the message of Tauret is Genesis. So it's talking about back in the beginning. So like childbirth. She's Tauret is a goddess of childbirth. So the emphasis with her is like on birthing something, birthing a person, birthing new ideas, the start of something new. Next we have Sobek. Sobek, it says union and power. Sobek. Next we have Anuket, goddess of hope. Yep, never heard of that one before, but I like the sound of her. Next we have Khnum, resourcefulness. So he's one of the creator deities. So I believe he has like a potter's wheel, and he molds the form of all of the people, and then once the figurines of the people are created, then the other creator god Ra then breathes life into those people, bringing them to life. But yeah, that was Khnum. So it says the message here is resourcefulness. So the next deity we have is Khonshu. So Khonshu is a deity of the moon. So it also says hermitage. Interesting. Gonna have to do lots of meditation with these cards because it doesn't come with a booklet. So with the deities that I don't know much about, it's a good opportunity to start researching those deities and also to meditate with the cards and to just connect with spirit and see what the message is that way. So number 19, we have Mut. So Mut is, it says being ordinary. So Mut is the goddess of the gods. Like she's literally one of the, actually she is, did I say the goddess of the god? No, I didn't mean goddess of the gods, but she's literally the all mother is Newt, and then she is the daughter of Newt. So Newt is a sky goddess. We'll probably come across her very soon. But Mut, it is also sometimes shown as a lion-headed goddess, like Sekhmet is. So next we have Khepri, and he's about change. So Khepri is a scarab-headed deity, and importance is that the scarab beetles, they're able to literally roll dung, and from nothing they create something and bring about change and rebirth. So this is why the Egyptians were very mystified by the scarab beetles, and they gained significance because of this ability to create change into literally to bring life out of nothing, or out of waste products. Next we have Sekhmet. Sekhmet, and the message here is justice. Interesting. So the only thing that I would say about this one is the stick that Sekhmet holds is like the Sekhem of power, but I feel like the imagery just on the staff that she's holding, I feel like it's very plain. So I feel like that's the only criticism so far. That I love the way the lions look, but I just wish they'd added a bit more detail to the staff which Sekhmet's holding. Here she is, Goddess Bastet, sometimes known as Bast. And Pastor House says, wow, you are so sweet and beautiful. And Pastor House says, hi. Thank you, Pastor House. That is very kind of you. So Bastet, goddess of passion and goddess of cats. So definitely one of my favorite goddesses, sorry. So you can call upon Bastet if you're a cat owner and you'd like to give them a blessing, but she's also a goddess of beauty as well, so in playfulness. So if you want a bit more, if you want to take more pride in yourself, a bit like a cat does. Cats take so much pride in themselves. They're always cleaning themselves, licking themselves. But this is the sort of energy that Bastet brings. She makes sure that you're always on fleek. Make sure that you're feeling yourself, that you're feeling good. But yeah, she's a goddess of passion as well, is what it says on the card. Let's see what we've got next. Aha, so we have Ta. So Ta is the consort of Sekhmet. So they're part of a trinity, one of the holy trinities within the Egyptian pantheon. So we have Ta, Nefertum, and Sekhmet. I was literally chanting those names earlier on, and it's to do with these deities. So Ta, he's kind of, it says here the message is skill, and that's because he is to do with like crafts. That's the word I was looking for. He's the god of craftsmen. So the people who make things, who design things, the makers of the world. So the emphasis with Ta is all on skill in crafting. Next we have Hathor. So Hathor, again, another goddess of beauty. She's another mother goddess as well. So you can also, she's also shown with like horns, like the cow, because the cow is one of her sacred animals. And the message of this card, it says intelligence as well, which is interesting. So Hathor is another deity who has connections with healing. And John Sanchez has commented, but I'm sorry, I don't speak Spanish. It looks like Spanish. But thank you for watching. So Hathor is a goddess of mothers. She's the goddess, it says intelligence is one of the main messages which the maker of this deck has attributed to her. Although there's so much depth with her, the first thing I think of when I think of Hathor, she's also a goddess of music as well. And again, beauty. So there's quite a few goddesses who are connected with beauty. Bast is one of them. Hathor is another one. So she's a goddess of music and beauty. And that's Hathor. Next we have Ma'at, goddess of truth. So Ma'at, so if you see this image here, Ma'at is literally where the image for winged angels comes from. Like if there was never a depiction of Ma'at, then literally we would not see angels, because I believe like before literally in the ancient times, angels were not seen as winged creatures. It was kind of around the Renaissance, all of a sudden, like some of the great artists, I'm not sure if it was like Da Vinci or someone like that, the great artists started depicting the angels with wings like the goddess Ma'at. And then that kind of took off, and ever since then you can't visualize an angel without wings these days, because it just doesn't seem right. But anyhow, Ma is a goddess of truth and fairness. So there's a lot of, I think there's like 40 something laws, which are divine laws, which Ma'at created. And it's all about bringing balance and keeping the peace and just living a good life, basically. So they're literally like the original 10 Commandments, but there was like over 40 of them. So those are the truths of Ma'at, or the I've forgotten the word for it. There's another word. There it's I've really really cannot think of that word, but it's like I said, they're the laws of Ma'at. But yeah, there was another word I was searching for, but it was just not coming, so we'll move on. Next we have the god Turf, so, or Tehuiti, as he's sometimes known. So Turf is the god of communication. So a bit like if you look at like Greek or Greco-Roman mythology, we have Hermes. So Turf is a similar deity because he's attributed with creating writing. So he's a god of communication and writing. So the message which is written on this card is wholeness. Interesting. And also Toph is in New Age circles, Toph is connected with the Emerald Tablets. So the Emerald Tablets it's an interesting read, actually. There's like a book, and it's attributed to, they say that it was written by Toph the Atlantean. So the deity Toph, they believed that he existed in Atlantis before Egypt, and he has written this book, the Emerald Tablet, or rather it wasn't technically a book, as it was, his writing was written on, literally on emerald. So it was carved onto emerald, the Emerald Tablet. But it's very interesting read. So it's where, I believe is it where as above so below comes from, stuff like that. Yeah, I'm sure it is as above so below. That is one snippet which comes from that Emerald Tablet. But if you Google it, you'll find the full thing. It's an interesting read. which talks about the laws of the universe and literally how things are, basically, how things exist in the spiritual laws. So next we have Anubis. So Anubis, he is a protector of the dead, and the message of this card, it says, is transformation. And I was mentioning about Anubis weighing a spirit's heart on his golden scales. He weighs it against the feather of truth, as you can see in the image. And you can see the creature Amut, which is waiting to devour the heart if it should be an unworthy or impure person. So next we have Nephte, and she's a goddess, and it says the message of this deity is meditation. So I've not actually came across this deity before, which is nice. Okay, so we have Horus. So a very popular one. It's interesting, Aleister Crowley, he, with one of his practices or traditions that he created, I believe it was called Thelma, or maybe one of the other ones, but he came across like the ages, basically like we think of like BC, AD, and all of that. Like these are like thousands of years where significant things happened. But for Aleister Crowley, we had not these. It was more to do with the Egyptian gods. So he had the age or the Aeon of Horus and the Aeon of Isis and the Aeon of Osiris, I believe it was. So these go back into time, but now we're in the Aeon of Horus, I believe. And this is according to Aleister Crowley's teachings. So it's a bit like the Age of Aquarius, really. And also, it could even be seen to tie in with the Kali Yuga. There's quite a lot of different cycles from around the world that all believe that we're in a significant time now. So this is card number 9, and the message is Horus, or rather the deity is Horus, and the message is stability and equilibrium. So Horus, he's often shown as a deity who has to fight against Seth, who is his uncle or Set. So Set is often portrayed as an evil character or evil archetype, and he's known to have killed his own brother Osiris or Ozar. And Horus is set on avenging his father Osiris as soon as he's strong enough and old enough to do so. Oh, and here we are. This is the card for Seth. So on it says the main message is resentment. So in the mythology, it says that Seth resented his brother and sister Isis and Osiris. He resented the fact that they ruled Egypt, and that also that I believe both his sisters were kind of, they was involved with Osiris, and Seth was jealous of this apparently and resented it, and hence why he killed Osiris and tricked him into a coffin, which he then cut into small pieces or something along those lines. I believe, no, I'm sure he chopped, he got Osiris to lay in a sarcophagus, and then he chucked it into the River Nile. But yeah, he killed Osiris anyhow. But Osiris was later resurrected by Isis, the goddess of magic, and I believe Anubis helped as well. So the next card we have is Isis. So we were just talking about her. So the message of the card, it says faith and wisdom. I'm not crazy for the depiction of on this. Like when I see Isis, I see like the winged Isis. Or at least Isis. I believe the name Isis literally means she who's enthroned. So, interesting. Let's see what we have next. Osiris. And the message here for Osiris is death and rebirth, obviously. So that is the image. So I'll let you take a look at that one. Osiris. So Osiris, he was the first king of Egypt, I believe, after Ra. Yeah, because originally it was the creator deity Amun-Ra who was ruling Egypt, but then Isis tricked Amun-Ra, and in doing so, Amun-Ra gave up the throne to Isis and Osiris, and they ruled Egypt as the first king and queen, or first pharaoh, should we say. And next we have Geb. So Geb is like the original father god. So he's the father of Isis and Osiris and Seth and Nephthys. So he's the consort of Nut. So Geb is the earth and Nut is the sky. And it's like that they've been separated somehow. I believe, was it Ra who chose to separate them to keep them from, was it to keep them from producing more children? Something along those lines. But yeah, it's a big thing in mythology that Nut, the sky goddess, she literally just always stays in that kind of, it looks a bit like a, what do you call it? Like, I can't even think of the words today. What the heck? But it's a bit like the yoga pose bridge. It's like the yoga pose bridge, but doing it forwards. So she's like hunched over. Okay. And Geb, he's the earth. So she touches the earth. So she's reaching over and touches the earth and makes contact with Geb. Oh, there she is. Doing what looks like a yoga pose. Nut, the sky goddess. So the message here, it says, is understanding. Interesting. Like that. So next we have Shu. So Shu is the god of air. He's the brother of Mut. And there's two cards left. So we have Amun-Ra, Amun-Ra, so he's like the creator deity. So he literally kept his name secret because his name is so powerful. But funny enough, Amun-Ra or Amun or Amen ends up at the end of every prayer for the Christians, which is quite interesting and funny. So Amen or Amun is the god of creation. But his name is very powerful. So literally the goddess Isis, she tricked Amun-Ra into giving up his name, because once you have someone's name, you have power over them. And because Amun-Ra is the ultimate creator deity who's got infinite power, so once his name was given up to Isis, the sorceress goddess, she then had access to all of his power, so she became just as powerful as him, more or less. And next we have Ra. So Ra, and the message of this card is enlightenment. So I do like this depiction. So it's interesting because sometimes you see that depiction of Ra, but it always kind of confuses me because I always think it's Horus, because it's like that hawk-headed, but it's not Horus. It's Ra. But that's the cool thing about the Egyptian gods. They like to keep you guessing, so they wear different heads now and then. So sometimes Ra appears as a hawk-headed deity, other times not. But yeah, so there you have it. That is card number 1, Ra, and the message is enlightenment. So these are the Egyptian god oracle cards. So tune in again to some of my other videos in the future, and you will see me reading those cards.